Changed it.
Jonathan.
All right, good afternoon. Today is May 15th. And it is now 6:29 p.m. We're starting this meeting very early. And I will call the CWA Impasse meeting to order. Mr. Wilson, could you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Green.
Present.
Councilman Smiley.
I'm here.
And Chair Warren.
The chair is here today. We will be hearing from the administration and the CWA. Each side will be given a maximum of 15 minutes to present. At the end, there'll be 15 minutes allocated for questions, and afterwards we'll vote to determine our recommendation. And we'll begin with a presentation from the Division of Human Resources. Ms. Fouché, you have the floor. Please name and address for the record and introduce your colleagues.
Good afternoon. Fonda Fouché, Chief Human Resource Officer, 125 North Main.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Alex Gaffney. I'm the EDI coordinator. Address is 125 North Main.
And we are going to present the CWA Impasse presentation for the city. So first, I just want to start with the background of the overview of the process overview. We met 4 times during the March 2024 labor negotiations process to discuss wages only. We agreed in 2022 to a 4% increase in FY23, a 4% increase in FY24, and to reopen wages for the FY25 budget. At the negotiations deadline on March 28th, the city's last best offer was a 2% wage increase. CWA rejected and made their last best offer of 5%. After reviewing the internal equity in an effort to avoid impasse, the city revised this offer in the total economic package to a 3% wage increase and a $1,500 bonus. This is permissible in accordance with ordinance number 5639. CWA did not accept the city's total economic package. CWA and the city continued discussions but were unable to reach an agreement, and CWA declared impasse to council on April 29th. The committee is here to make a recommendation on the city or CWA's total economic package. No changes can be made to either package. Only a recommendation may be made for the full council to decide. Just to go over roles and responsibilities, the association is an advocate for their members. The administration is an advocate for their employees, and city council is to choose the package that is in the best interest of the citizens. And this just shows the offers from the both of our last best offers in the city's total economic package. So it is the city's position that all city employees should receive the same percentage increase for 1 year only. The administration created a balanced budget focused on personnel despite budget challenges. A 3% proposed increase for all employees creates no compression. A higher increase for one group would create compression and upset the balanced budget. The one-time $1,500 bonus offered to stay within the FY25 budget priorities and to meet the Labor Association's expectations. CWA is above market, including locally, due to the history of increases. And this is just a slide from Mayor Young's budget that just shows that this is a budget dedicated to people. Despite the challenges faced with the FY25 budget, we did prioritize personnel and included a wage increase. So the financial impact to the city from the city's offer, the 3% wage increase and the $1,500 bonus, which would be paid from FY24, there is no compression for a total of $307,000. The percentage equivalent to wages is 2.2%. The average equivalent of the entire package is 5.2%. CWA is asking for a 5% wage increase, which totals $544,000. And the difference in the two proposals is $236,000. This just gives you an overview of the history of increases and bonuses that CWA has received since 2016. They have received a total of 25.5% in increases. In July 2023, they did receive a 4% increase, and also the 9% increase, for a total of 13% in 2023. And as I said earlier, CWA is above market. They also make more than our local counterparts, which includes Germantown, Shelby County, Collierville, and Memphis-Shelby County Airport. And we asked the committee to agree whether our position that CWA should not receive a higher raise than other city employees, and to recommend the administration's total economic package to council. Thank you. Any questions?
I got a question.
Okay,
So-
question now?
Absolutely.
Okay, go right ahead.
So the city's proposed total economic package, you keep saying it's a balanced budget. Balanced budget based on the 75-cent tax increase.
Based on the budget, yes, that the mayor presented.
So if the council decides to present a tax increase other than 75 cents, is it a budget balance? Okay. That's all.
Any other questions, Councilwoman Green? Okay, I have one question.
Mhm.
Can you explain the concept of compression to me? What does that mean?
Yes. We did a,
Sounds bad. I don't want to be compressed, so I'm just wondering.
compression occurs when there's a difference in pay between employees, regardless of a difference in their respective skills, experience, or abilities. So let's say if we don't do 3% across the board, then if one group is raised, that may, people below them, that may cause us to have to raise their salaries as well.
So okay, you know where I'm going with this,
Yes.
but go ahead.
Councilwoman Green?
Yeah, so I was gonna try to stay out of it, but we're talking about dispatchers, right? Okay, so we're not talking about compression across the whole budget, just this. So there's not compression issues in which side we pick here. I have said to you before, this is now my 4th impasse because I've been so blessed
Oh,
this
you are
budget
so
season.
graced.
So blessed.
That she does not like
Hashtag
bonuses.
blessed. But I'll say it again because not everybody else has been in the room when I've said it, just me and the director. I think it is poor policy on the administration's part to offer one-time bonuses as opposed to overall pay raises if we are going to actually invest in our employees and work on recruitment and retention. We cannot say that we are doing our part for the employees and continue to do that. I also continue to find it frustrating to sit in these meetings and see that the dollar amount is less than $250,000 and we can't find a middle ground, and that we're at the point of impasse because it feels like we're awfully close. And if I was the judge and you guys were the jury, I'd send you back in there. I wouldn't let you be a hung jury. I would say, go figure it out. So I find that incredibly frustrating. But I do want to make the point to Dr. Warren, when I have had compression issues in my day job on the other side, as an example, I help work on increasing the living wage for our bus monitors from $12 to $15. Well, there are people who've been working there a year or two that were already making $15. So I had to talk to the union at that time, that was the Teamsters, and say, will your people who are making $15 be okay if the new people coming in are making $15? And they said, absolutely, because we want everybody to making a living wage. So that's the kind of compression, like if you start someone at $15, then you might think you have to bump everybody up by $3. But if you get agreement on the front end, which is what this is, there isn't a compression issue. And I told Ms. Fouché yesterday, when these presentations keep saying we're going to treat all employees fairly by treating them equally, I have 3 children. Treating people fairly does not mean treating them equally. So,
Interesting, and thank you for that explanation of compression. There's, I think, a biblical parable about that and the talents and who gets paid and how much they work. Let's go ahead and have a presentation from CWA, and then we'll have more questions and answers, and we'll talk about bonuses. Go ahead, name and address for the record, and please present.
My name is Wade Boswell, 2860 Price Drive, Bartlett, Tennessee. I'm with the local president of the Communication Workers of America. I would like to go over the interview, and if you don't mind, then turn it over to the dispatchers so they can better answer your questions, since I'm kind of an outside entity myself. MPA and IAFF received 5% raises in 2023, and CWA received 4%. Disparity of pay between Memphis fire dispatchers and the police.
Well,
They're,
use the screen.
they're going to put your digital
Do you
copy
did
up.
you send us your?
Okay.
There we go. Okay, you can move over there so you can use the.
You going to run it for him because he's an old guy like me. There you go.
But
You're
and
yeah.
if you wouldn't mind before you leave, save it to desktop because we have to publish it for the public. Thank you.
The disparity of pay between the Memphis fire dispatchers and the Memphis police dispatcher is currently 4.35. Memphis police dispatchers take over 1 million calls a year, with the call volume trending upwards each year. Fire dispatchers take about a quarter of that many calls, but the vast majority of those calls being handled and processed by the police dispatchers first. Not only are calls being dispersed to fire through police dispatchers, but they are also handling calls for animal control, 311, calling out tow trucks, fielding administrative calls, entering missing persons and stolen vehicles into NCIC, running warrant checks, covering 10 separate police radios with 20 to 80 officers per dispatcher. Memphis police dispatchers' call volume is so great that they are consistently being drafted almost every day to cover the call volume and cover radios. Memphis police dispatchers are constantly being hired and trained, but because of the stress and demand of overtime, retention is low. I'm going to turn it over to Sam.
Thank you. Name and address for the record.
I'm Sam Stamper, 79 Flicker Street. I'm a police radio dispatcher.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay. So just a quick look at what we've been going through the past couple of years. This is the number of calls we take. They come in, all day, every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. 2022, 680,000 911 calls, 761,000 CAT events. So that includes things like traffic stops, patrols, subject checks that officers do. They tell us over the radio. We create a record of in real time. In 2023, that number went up to 886,000, as well as an increase up to 752,000 911 calls. So you can see that's kind of a percentage of what are our 911 emergency calls, as well as our non-emergency calls, and some other administrative type calls. You see it's moving pretty steadily in an upward direction, about a 20% increase in total call volume over the past 2 years, as well as the events we create. So we're getting busier, and who is it that's doing all this additional work? Well, these are our staffing levels. This is the number of full-time dispatchers, as well as people in the active training program that we've had at the start of the fiscal year, July 1st, 2021 to now. So we had 103 and 16 training. The next year we were down to 98 full-time dispatchers, 41 in training. Great, we've got all these people in training. Got some help on the way. Next year, of those 41, we've now got 4 more people. And now we're back down to 99 as of today, with 24 in training. So you can.
Before you leave that point, are you losing people to other places, or are they just retiring from stress?
It's a combination.
Okay,
You know.
thank you.
Okay, so as staffing retention is low, our full complement is 152 dispatchers, and we are currently working with 99. So what that leads to is what we call the draft. And the draft is when management mandates you to either extend your current shift by 4 hours or to begin your next shift 4 hours early. So you're working time and a half, and the average employee, the median employee, was drafted 76 times in 2023. So 76 times they had to come and work 4 extra hours with no choice on their own. So if you give us 2 weeks of vacation, we work 240 days a year. And given that draft, that means we're actually working 278 out of the 365 days a year. So we are looking to increase our compensation to close the gap between us and the fire dispatchers. Currently, they make 4.35% more than us. It's a difference of about $3,200 a year. These numbers would be if we each, us and fire, both received a 3% increase. That gap only increases. It's now almost $3,500 a year. If the council elects to select our proposal and approve a 5% increase for us, as well as a 3% increase for the fire dispatchers, that they're still making more, but that number is getting smaller. That gap is getting lower. Instead of 4.5%, it's now 2.5%. And we feel like we're moving in the right direction in that case. We also spoke about the city proposed fairness increase. They received a larger raise last year. And like I said, if we were to receive the 5% we're looking for this year, that would serve to narrow that gap. The city showed a slide during their presentation that had that showed over the course since 2016 that CWA dispatchers had received a 25.5% overall increase in wages. Yesterday, y'all had an impasse meeting with MPA, with the Police Association. They showed that same slide, and that indicated that the police have received a 31.5% increase over that same time frame between 2016 and now. Yesterday, you had an impasse meeting with the fire department. They showed that same slide. Fire department has also received a 31.5% increase over that time frame since 2016, and we're sitting at 25.5. So we feel like historically we've been, given a little bit of the short end of the stick, and we're trying to make up for that with our current proposal.
Thank you. I have just a quick question for you to start off with. Why, I thought we had a 911 center, and I thought everyone worked in the 911 center, and you just took either a fire, police, or an ambulance call, and you just did it. And I didn't realize that it was divided out to fire and fire department and police department employees. When did this start, and why is there a difference in pay between the two? What's different that we should have ever had a difference in the pay?
To my knowledge, it has always been separate for both police and fire. It is a 911 center. It is one room, one building, about twice the size of this room. We're on one side.
Yeah.
They're on the other. Right?
Okay. Let me see if Chief Shea has some answer to this. Yes, ma'am.
So the fire dispatchers are called fire alarm operators. They're called fire alarm operators. They are a part of the IAFF
It's a different union.
association, and so they get all of the increases that whatever IAFF receive, the fire alarm operators receive because they are a part of that union. The police radio dispatchers are separate from the MPA. They are in their own union, which is CWA. So that's
Well,
one of the.
was it set up that way initially, or, I mean, what's the historical background on that?
The historical I've always known there were fire alarm operators and police radio dispatchers. Fire alarm operators, I know, dispatch to the firehouses and to the firehouses. They do dispatch for fire services.
And also for ambulance?
Yes.
And you as a police dispatcher never dispatched to an ambulance and never dispatched to a fire?
We do not dispatch a fire truck or an ambulance. However, we respond to a lot of the same calls with the police that they get. But we our side of the building, our side of the room, for lack of a better term, is only dispatching the police.
And I assume a lot of times you dispatch a policeman and they dispatch a fire truck to the same location for the same call.
Correct.
Okay, how do y'all coordinate that?
We have what we call the ring down line, which is a direct line that supersedes, I shouldn't say supersedes. It won't go in front of a 911 call, but it will ring concurrently, and all of us on that side will see that the fire department's trying to call us, and the first person that becomes available gets off whatever emergency call they're on, can answer that, speak directly with the fire dispatcher, even though they're only 30 feet away. It's the quickest way to facilitate that communication.
Thank you. Okay, Councilman Smiley, you're in the queue.
So we're only talking about $70,000 difference. Is that right? What's the difference? Where are y'all? In terms of the difference? Because y'all are proposing. So
we are proposing.
Can you talk into the mic? Yeah.
So we're proposing a 3% increase and a $1,500 bonus, and they are asking for 5%. The difference in the proposal is, I have the exact dollar amount. It is $236,000. No. If we include the bonus, no, the difference in the two proposals is $236,000, and that's combined. The whole total economic package, yes.
And to clarify on that a little bit, the bonus payment would be paid out of the FY24 budget. Some of the vacancies that are remaining from that budget would go to the bonus payment for this association and all the associations. The cost for this one in particular, the exact dollar amount is $163,500. But that would be paid out of FY24 and would not go towards the FY25 budget.
Chair?
Yes, Councilwoman Green.
It looks like they are having issues with retention, which is means we're also having to recruit, means we're also having to train. And do we have a figure on what that cost us?
So I'm not able to speak as to dollar figures. What I can say is that retention has, and our turnover rate has slowed dramatically in the last 18 months since the end of the COVID era. Some of the high number of resignations were from a large group of dispatchers hired in May 2022. They were promised sign-on bonuses, and then a group of 20 dispatchers which were hired in October 2022. Both groups, most of the resignations and separations were from employees that weren't well suited for this line of work, likely came for salary and job security due to the uncertain economy.
Wait. I want you to stop right there.
Mm-hmm.
Because we had sign-on bonuses and people weren't well suited for the work. And they took that bonus and then they decided this wasn't a good job. And here's what we're doing again. We're saying, you should stay in this work for this bonus. And they're gonna leave again because it's not an overall pay increase. This is why I keep saying over and over again that we have to invest in our employees. And when we don't, we pay on the back end, which is not reflected here. I just want to point that out to the other people who are on this impasse committee with me. What you don't see here is recruitment and marketing cost to replace these people. What you don't see here is the training cost that we put into new hires. What you don't see here is Director Foucher's time and talents and energy in trying to get job postings up. To replace an employee in general in the city of Memphis across the board, on average, it cost us $40,000. So if we're talking about continuing to lose people at a $40,000 rate over and over again, and we are less than $250,000 apart, we need to be factoring that in too.
So, Councilwoman Green, just to put it on the record, those employees that left, that group of employees actually did not receive the bonus because they did not complete out their probationary period. So, there is, of course, the cost with employees leaving and the turnover, but the bonus was not actually something that was a problem. And this bonus would be paid out to non-probationary employees as well.
And as far as recruiting, we have also created a career pathway for police radio dispatcher. We partnered with Tresvant and Germantown High School and Arlington, and so we are working with high school students to train them, and so that would help with
I love
retention.
that. We should definitely be creating pathways and letting people know this is an option. But the non-probationary employees, if we take your package, they get it in the first paycheck in July, the $1,500 bonus?
No, they would not be considered for that bonus.
The non-probationary.
Only probationary employees, yes.
Non-probationary people.
Non-probationary people.
No,
Okay.
he said it backwards.
He said it backwards. Okay, so here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying. It's a really high stress job.
It's okay.
There are people who are teetering on the edge. July 1, they get an extra $1,500 in their account, and they can walk out the door.
What's the answer to that question?
So the $1,500 bonus is not a retention bonus. I mean, they could get it.
I'm just asking the question.
Yeah.
I'm not asking what it's for.
Right.
Because you did put in your presentation that you didn't think retention was a problem. And I see, differing information from the union on that. But my question is, if on July 1st, let's say somebody's been working there for 3 years and they are stressed at how they're having to be forced to work overtime, they're not getting paid as much as the people who literally sit across the room from them doing the same job. And they get a $1,500 bonus on July 2nd, or whenever the first pay period is, the day after that. Can they walk out the door? Is there any sort of anything that's keeping them?
With the $1,500 bonus, no.
Okay.
When would it, and it would be paid at the first paycheck, is that
Yeah,
correct?
so it could be paid out of FY24.
Out of FY '24.
Yes.
Okay, I've run a business myself, and particularly in primary care, it's really variable. It depends upon what the government decides they're going to pay you. They change the rules all the time. You're doing well, and all of a sudden, what Medicare is paying you or Medicaid pays you drops by 15%. And if you gave raises every year in that type of situation, you couldn't do it. So when we had good years, we gave bonuses, and when we didn't, we gave smaller raises, and everyone got a small raise. So I understand the thought process because we don't see this. But in my mind, I also understand what Councilwoman Green's saying is that, in my mind, we have not invested in our employees in quite some time as far as keeping up even just with inflation. And in jobs like this, it does seem fair that people would be paid the same. And I understand historically there's reasons that didn't occur. I don't know how you get to that. I can understand why you want to do the bonuses. But if we're going to pay this and you're telling us what you've got now is included in your 75% tax raise, okay? And if we do more than that, it won't be included. Is that correct?
So yes.
So
this
we
is-
would we'd have to raise tax rate higher than that.
Absolutely not.
Yes.
Okay? So I'm just saying, you know, so as we're looking at this, we got to figure out how we have our cake and eat it too. And I just think it's more complicated. Councilman Smiley.
So I agree, it's more complicated. So, I'm just very transparent. We're not gonna have a 75-cent tax raise. The council won't approve that. But what I do know is folks who work in the same building, do similar work, are being paid less. What I wanna hear, and I'm waiting on the argument. Y'all know I like good arguments. I wanna hear an argument why, I'm almost done. I wanna hear an argument why that the fire dispatchers should make more than the police dispatchers. Are they doing work that's more strenuous? Are they leaving the building? Like, what about their work makes them more deserving than the police dispatchers? I don't know, because I don't work in the area. I don't understand what's different in the work that they do. Because if not, I'm ready to make a motion.
No, Lovejoy wants to come and speak to that.
Come holler at me.
Right. And from my standpoint, the fact that they are in two different unions and the two different unions receive different increases have affected their pay over time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair.
That's a
Because
fair.
because
that's fair.
fire alarm operators are in the fire union, and as you know, IAFF have gotten increases over the years that were higher than some of the other associations.
I get it. Yeah, that's fair. I still just want to know the difference in the work. So someone calls
he can tell you
someone
the
calls
day-to-day.
911, then the person on 911 says, "Hey, you call police, you go to the fire." But like other than that, like what's different in the work? I don't know. I really don't.
Sean Lovejoy, 79 Flicker. I'm the manager for training and quality assurance for the police communication center. So essentially, sir, we're the primary PSAP or public safety answering point. So every 911 call that's made inside the city of Memphis comes to police first. Our dispatchers assess that call, determine if it's a police response or a fire or EMS response. If it needs fire or EMS, our dispatchers.
So it goes to police first.
Yes, sir.
Then it may go to fire, maybe.
Correct.
Okay.
We answer every 911 call before anybody else.
I'm
So-
ready to make a motion. I thank you. That's all. I move that we accept the union's total economic package.
It has been moved and seconded that we accept the union's package. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. And the chair is an abstention. It passes.